The Telltale Heart. True. Very, very dreadfully nervous I had been and am. But why will you say that I am mad? The disease had sharpened my senses, not destroyed it, but not dulled them. Above all was the sense of hearing a God. I heard all things in the heaven and in the earth. I heard my things in hell. How then am I mad? Hearken and observe how healthy, how calmly I can tell you the whole story. It is impossible to say how fierce the idea entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. Object there was none, passion there was none. I loved the old man. He had never wounded me. He had never given me insult. For his all I had no desire. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this. He had the eye of a vulture, a pan blue eye, with a film over it. Whenever it fell off me, my blood ran cold, and so by the siris, very dreadfully. I made I made up my mind to take the life of the old man, and thus rid myself of the eye forever. Now, this is the point. You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing, but you should have seen me. You should have seen how wealthy I proceeded, with what caution, with what foresting, with what dissimulation. I went to work. I was never kinder of the old man than during the whole week before. I killed him, and every night about midnight I turned the latch of his door and opened it. Oh, so gently. And then, when I had made an opening sufficient for my head, I put in a dark ladder and closet that no light shone out, and I thrust in my head. Oh, you will have loved to see how cunningly I thrust it in. I moved it slowly, very, very slowly, so that I might not disturb the old man's sleep. I took me onward to place my whole head within the opening so far that I could see him as he lay up his bed. Ha! Would a madman have seen so wise as this? And then, when my head was well in the room, I undid the lantern cautiously. Oh, so cautiously, for the things cracked. I undid it just so much that a single dim ray fell upon the vulture eye, and this I did for 7 long nights. Every night just a midnight. But I found the eye always closed, and so it was impossible to do the work, for it was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye. And every morning when the day broke, I went boldly into the chamber and spoke courageously to him, calling him by name in a early tone, and inquiring how he passed the night. So you see, he would have been a very proud old man, indeed, to suspect that every night, just at 12, I looked in upon him while he slept. Upon the 18th night I was more than usually cautious in opening the door. A watch minion had moved more quality than did mine. Never before night had I felt the extent of my own powers, of my sagacity. I could scarcely contain my feelings of triumph. To think that there I was, opening the door little by little, and he not even to dream of my secret deeds of drugs. I fairly chuckled at the idea, and perfect, and he heard me, for he moved on the bed softly, as it startled. No, you many think that I drew back, but no. His room was a black as pitch with the thick darkness. For the shoulder we close fastened through fur of robbers, and so I knew that he could not see the opening of the door, and I kept pushing it on sadly. I had my head in, and was about open the lantern when my thumb split open to thin fastering, and the old man sprang up in bed, crying out, "Who's there?" I kept quite still and said nothing. For a whole hour I did not move a muscle, and in the meantime I did not hear him lie down. He was still sitting up in the bed listening, just as I have done night before night, hearkening to the dead wash in the wall. Presently I had a slight groan, and I know it was groan of mortal terror. It was not for a gruesome pain or of raven. Oh no, it was the low static sounds that arise from the bottom of the chute when overchanged with evil. I know the shot will. Many nights, just at midnight, while all the world slept, it was welled up from my own bosom, depending with the dreadful issue. The terror was disgracing me. I say I knew it well. I knew what the old man felt, and pitied him, although I shook the heart. I know that he had been lying awake ever since the first single noise, when he had turned in the bed. His heart had been ever since growing up him. He had been trying to fancy them cowardly but cold now. He had been saying to himself, "It's nothing but the mine in the chimney, it's only mouse crossing the floor." Or is merely a wicked wish has made a single chirp? Yes, he had been trying to comfort himself with the suppositions, but he had found all in vain, because death is approaching him had scattered with his black shadow before him, and emboldened the victim, and it was morphally influence of the unperceived shadow to the caused him to feel, although he neither saw a hair, to feel the presence of my head with the room. When I had waited a long time, very patient, without hearing him lie down, I resolved to open a very little crevice in the lantern. I opened it. You cannot imagine how sadly, until at length a simple dim rain, like the racket of the spider, has found out the service, and they full open the vulnerable eye. It was open, wide open, and I grew furious as I gazed opened. I saw it with perfect distance, all a dawn blue, with a healthy veil of it chilled the very marrow in my bones, but I could see nothing else of the old man's face or person, for I had directed the rain as is by insist precisely of the damaged spot. And have I not to I'm not told you that why you mistake for madness if but over acquainted for the sense? No, I say, there come to my ears a low, dull, quick sound such wash make when enveloped in cotton. I know that song well, though it was the beating of the old man's heart. It increased by my fury, as the beating of a dumb simulation to slotted into a couch. But even yet I refrained and kept it. I scared bird. I have lazy motion. I tried how steadily I could maintain the rein of the eve, maintain the health status of the hair inscribed. It grew quicker and quicker, and louder, very instead. The old man's terror must have been extreme. It grew louder. I saw louder every moment. Do you mark me? I have to tell you that I am nervous, so I am. Now the dead hour of mine, and mine the during silence of the old house, so strange and no excite me to uncontrollable terror. Yet for some minutes longer I fermented and stood still. But the beginning grew louder, and now the heart most voice, and now a new insect sends me. The sound would be heard my neighbor. The old man owl had come. With a low jet, I threw open the lantern and let me into the room. He scared once in an instant. I dragged him to the floor and pulled the heavy bed over him. I then smiled gaily to find the deed so far done, but for many minutes they hard bed on mine and morphin so. This hovery is not vex me. It will not be her throat to wall. The language is caused. The old man was dead. I removed the bed and examined the corpse. Yes, he was stone dead. I placed my hand on the heart and held in there many minutes. There was no pulsation. He was stone dead. His if would trouble me no more. If still you think me mad, you will think so no longer when I describe the with precaution I took for the concealment of the body. Then I wandered, and I worked hastily, but in silence. Fear of all, I dismembered the corpse. I cut off the head, and the arms, and the legs. I then took up 3 planks from the flooring and the chamber, and deposited all between the scab lines. I then replaced the board so cleverly, so cunningly, that no human eye, not even his, could have detected anything wrong. There was nothing to wash out, no stain of any kind, no blunt spot whatever. I had been too worried for that. A tube had caught. Ha ha. When I had made an end this labor, it was 4 o'clock, still dark at midnight, as the build-up sounded to the floor. There came a knocking at the street door. I went door open. It was like her. For what had I known to fear? There entered 3 men, who introduced themselves with perfect suavity as officers of the police, as curious had been had by neighbors during the night. Suspicion of foul play had been aroused. Information had been laundered at the police office, and they had been deputed to search the premises. I smiled. For what had I suffered? I bade the gentleman welcome. The squeeze, I said, was my own in a dream. The old man I mentioned was absent in the country. I took my visitor all over the house. I bade the search well. I led them at length to his chamber. I showed them this so secure, undisturbed. In the enthusiasm of my confidence, I brought shavers into the room, and desired them here to refresh from their fatigue while I myself, in the will audacity of my perfect tremble, placed my own siege onto the very spot beneath which reposed the corpse of the victim. I tacked it more frequently to get rid of the feeling, but this continued and gaining the fitness until a language. I found that the noise was not within my eyes. Not double, I know, grew very play, but I talked more frequently and it was hiding voice. Yet the sound increased. And what could I do? It was a low, dull peak sound, such a sound as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I gasped for breath, and yet the officer had it not. I talked more quickly, more bently, but the noise steadily increased. I arose and great about tried in a high key in with violent gesticulation. But the noise still increased. Why will they not be gone? I paced the floor and I fro with heavy strides, as is expected to fury by the observation of the men. But the noise still increased. Oh my God! What could I do? I fogged, I raved, I swore, I saw the chair of which I had been sitting and grated up the walls, but the noise arose over all and continually increased. It grew louder, 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 and still the men shouted presently, and smiled. Was it possible they heard not? Almighty God, no, no, they heard, they suspect, they know, they were making a mockery of my horror. It this I took and this thing, but anything was better than this annoy. Anything was more terrible than this derision. I could bear those hypothetical simulations no longer. I felt that I must scream or die. And now again, hark! Louder, louder, louder. Visions! I screeched, dissembled, no more. I admitted the dead. There of the plan, here, here, it was baiting of he has our heart. End.